Now, not only are Disney and Lucasfilm currently focused on the rise of Skywalker and ending the sequel trilogy and the Skywalker saga as a whole with director J.J. Abrams, but they're also looking to the future and what's to come next after the sequel trilogy for the Star Wars franchise. This is Mike Zero. If you guys are new to the channel, do make sure to subscribe to see future Star Wars content. Now, one thing about the Star Wars franchise that I personally am really excited about is, of course, the new saga, the new Star Wars trilogy, the fourth trilogy that will be created by the creators of Game of Thrones. Now, I completely understand the criticism of what happened with Season 8 of Game of Thrones. That's completely fine and reasonable. However, I'm still holding out hope that this new trilogy really is going to live up to expectations, and hopefully David Benioff and D.B. Weiss are really going to pull it off to create a whole entire new saga. And keep in mind that they also are going to be working on these movies for years on end. Now, what's really intriguing about everything here is that these past couple of months or so, we have been learning a whole lot more about the future of the Star Wars franchise and where things are going to go after Episode 9 is all over and done with. And what's really intriguing is that, well, it's described that not only are Disney and Lucasfilm currently focused on the rise of Skywalker with director J.J. Abrams, but they are now on their next priority, that is said to be the new Star Wars trilogy by David Benioff and D.B. Weiss. It's described that currently Disney and Lucasfilm are in the early stages of casting plans for the main roles in the first film of the fourth trilogy that is codenamed Star Wars X. It's described that Kathleen Kennedy, Disney, and Lucasfilm are in negotiations to get an A-list actor to portray one of the strong main roles in the film, and that Kennedy is said to be looking at Christian Bale for a lead role in the rise of Skywalker and are trying to get him on board into the Star Wars franchise. Bale was originally offered a role in Solo: A Star Wars Story that unfortunately did not work out. However, Bale once said this in January of 2018. Yes, it was very tempting. I not only love the films going back to my childhood, but also have a very long relationship with Kathleen Kennedy and Frank Marshall before they did Empire of the Sun many years ago. There was discussion, and I hope there will be future discussions. It's unclear as to, if chosen, who Bale will portray in the film, either a Jedi, Sith, bounty hunter, whatever have you. However, Bale was and has a close relationship with Kathleen Kennedy, as they are going into negotiations to get him involved for the fourth Star Wars trilogy. So what's really intriguing about this, guys, is that this also fits directly in line with what we went over a couple of months ago, that Disney, Lucasfilm, and everybody else involved with this new trilogy, they are looking for A-list and B-list actors and actresses that are going to be used as a way in order to attract larger audiences. Now, to me, that seems like it could work, but at the same exact time, Disney and Lucasfilm, they gotta remember, it's not just about who's gonna be in these movies and how well these actors are well able to act, but it's all about writing the story. It's all a matter of how the pacing of these stories goes, how it's going to be edited, everything around those lines. So it's very important that they don't rely on just good actors and actresses that are A-list and B-list, but that these stories are actually going to be very authentic to the Star Wars franchise and true for the Star Wars fans. Now, on top of this, what's really great is that Christian Bale, phenomenal actor. I don't know if you guys have seen him in The Batman Begins, The Dark Knight Rises, or Rescue Dawn, other movies out there like Reign of Fire. I mean, the list goes on. The guy is an amazing guy. He's done some funny, dark comedy movies out there, like American Psycho. So he has done pretty much everything, ranging from dramas to comedies to dark comedies to action flicks, and even had his own handful of science fiction films out there before in the past. So what's really great about Bale is that he's very experienced, and I'm not quite sure who he can really play. He could absolutely play a Jedi if he wanted to. He could play a Sith if they really wanted to make him up for that. Like I always say, they could always do a lot of makeup work for these actors and actresses to really make them look different. Now, we've been going over how Charlize Theron and Keanu Reeves are also in the talks for being major roles in the fourth Star Wars trilogy, which you can really only imagine what this is going to be like, to have the Star Wars franchise including all these A-list and B-list actors and actresses. It's almost as if they're going through the Marvel route. And what I mean by the Marvel route is, well, if you look at Marvel, we have a lot of A-list and B-list actors. A great A-list actor is Robert Downey Jr. as Iron Man. You know, that's a great example. So Christian Bale could very well be the Robert Downey Jr., if you will, of the Star Wars universe. So with that being said, guys, I'm very excited about the future of the franchise and the fact that they are trying to get A-list and B-list actors and actresses on board to portray these main roles in the upcoming new Star Wars trilogy. The only thing that I think a lot of fans are a little worried about is the fact that David Benioff and D.B. Weiss didn't have that great of a run with Season 8 of Game of Thrones, and how it really went against the fans of Game of Thrones, and you know, it's a real big story. But anyways, I would love to hear what you guys have to say about all this below in the comments. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.